take a look at subtracting integers. Subtracting integers of all four operations by far is the most confusing. It's the one that is the most commonly mixed up and missed on quizzes and tests. So let's just start right at the beginning. We have our good old 4 minus 3. Let's not overthink that. So easy to overthink as soon as we see that fancy word integers. Remember, integers just means some number that can be positive or negative or zero, but has no decimals and no fractions, okay? Just regular numbers, good old numbers, okay? 4 minus 3 is 1. Yay, we got one right. Yay, I'm so glad. Oh boy, this is where it starts getting really frustrating. -4, and then I have to take away 3. So I can think of it a couple ways. I can think of it regarding money, where money says if I owe somebody $4 and I'm subtracting, in other words, I'm borrowing more, 3, then I'm not paying anyone back at this point. I'm subtracting 3. So now I'm owing more money and going deeper into debt. So that's one way to think of it, which then says that that's a -7. So I owe $7 now. This one up here, this gets really crazy. And this is where sometimes talking about money, I don't know how helpful it is. It's almost like we have to say, well, is there something to remember, some way to remember how to do this without trying to come up with a practical solution? And what's funny in math is if you can make it practical, it usually makes sense. I just find this one is, it's almost impractical to make it practical. So let's just jump to the cool rule that I like. One of the rules I like is when I have two negatives touching, I like to turn them into a positive. So this negative and this negative are literally like right up against each other. So I like to think of these two minuses coming together and like flinging through the air and turning into a plus. So when I have two minuses, they come together to make a plus. So now I think of it as -4 plus 3. Now I can go to money. I owe somebody $4. I pay 3 of that back. So now I only owe them $1. So that is one of the ways I like to think of how to do that. Same thing down here. 4 minus a -3 just seems like it's a mouthful. What on earth does that even mean? So if I go back to the practical, impractical rule, I can think, well, hey, these two minuses are touching. I'm subtracting a negative, which whenever I have a double negative, that means I have a positive. So I'm going to take these guys and I'm going to flip this guy around and I'm going to make it a positive. So they're both positives. That just made life so much easier because all this is now is 4 plus 3. I can do that. 7. Subtracting integers definitely requires a variety of approaches. So don't worry, just keep at it.